Today I fucked up allowing my roommate to proofread my CV. Throwaway account. This morning I finally finished updating my CV. My current job is coming to an end and it's time to find work elsewhere. Hence, the CV. My roommate, who had been following my tedious job hunting process, suggested that I use a paid software he used to make his CV look attractive and professional. He gave me his login details so that I didn't have to pay any subscription fee. At the time I thought it was cool of him. Total bro move. The software made my CV look great. I was more than happy with the outcome. However, before exporting my CV as a PDF document, I notified my roommate that I was done updating it. He wanted to proofread it first. In fact, he insisted. I didn't mind at all. On the contrary, I encouraged it. His feedback was nothing but positive. And with that stamp of approval, I exported my CV and sent it to the relevant companies. Earlier this afternoon I got my first response via email. I was like, damn, that was quick. Then I actually read the email and realized I had nothing to celebrate. The email described my CV as unprofessional and grossly inappropriate, and advised me to never contact them again. At that moment I decided to click on attachments and open my CV. And there it was. Under hobbies. Enjoys fucking other people's bitches. It was a shock to the system, not gonna lie, but it made complete sense. I had sex with my roommate's girlfriend on New Year's Eve. She was his ex at the time and we were drunk, which is no excuse, but alcohol was the primary source of all the stupid shit that happened that night. I apologized to my roommate the next morning and not only did he accept my apology, he gave his blessing for me to hook up with her again. Not that I did. My roommate seemed really sincere, which made me think everything was good between us. Even when he randomly got back together with his ex. Guess it's safe to say shit ain't right between us at all. He's not answering my calls. Not responding to any of my messages. So, now I don't know what to expect when I get home later. If he wanted me to feel angry and betrayed, well, motherfucker succeeded. TL. Doctor allowed my roommate to proofread my CV upon his request. Little did I know he would use it against me for sleeping with his ex-girlfriend and add stuff to my CV that no potential employer wants to see. The proper title would be, Today I fucked up by not reading my CV after having someone else edit it. Dude, you didn't read it before you sent it out? Your foo here is getting a document back and not tracking the changes to see what was updated. I mean, if I was hiring, that's a red flag. As for the job hunt, change the formatting of your name, shuffle up the CV a little bit, use a different email and resend it in about 2 weeks. Aside from chuckling or getting unreasonably upset, most HR departments aren't going to remember you, and if you reformat your name they might think you're not necessarily the same guy. I wouldn't encourage any form of violence. I wouldn't discourage either though. I have a story just like this. I asked my girlfriend at the time to review my resume when I was applying for a summer job in college. She said it was great, just some minor edits, so I sent it in. I'm in the interview, and it's wrapping up. My interviewer says I think you did great, but I have one question I just have to ask. Why did you put cuddles under your interests? I just about died on the spot. Still got the job though. You really thought everything was cool with him after you had sex with his girlfriend? Yeah, honestly all you can do at this point is have sex with her again. I think your real foo is having a hobbies section to fill out your resume. Today I fucked up by not thinking before speaking while at work in Japan. This will be short and awkward. I recently bought a bomber jacket at Uniqlo and wore it to school for work. While getting ready to go home for the day, I was packing my stuff in our staff room with my 15 Japanese coworkers and one of them told me, "Nice M1 jacket." I had never heard this name for a flight jacket, so I replied, "What did you call it?" My coworker repeated the name, M1 jacket. "What do you call this type of jacket?" "We call it a bomber jacket," I answered without thinking. Then, with all of the other teachers listening, she asked me, "What is bomber?" I lifted my hand and pantomimed a slow-moving plane. A bomber is the kind of airplane that drops bombs. A terrible moment of silence, then my coworker ended the conversation, "Naruhodo. I see," and went back to her work. No one else said anything. I finished putting my backpack on, reservedly waved, "Bye," to the other staff, and left work. Too long did not read. I made an ass of myself by bringing up the topic of bomber planes to my Japanese coworkers and pantomimed an airplane dropping a bomb, before I realized what I was doing. She did ask what a bomber was. This reminds me of a Michael Keaton quote from Gung Ho, less than paraphrased. So, you guys are from Japan, huh? My dad spent some time over there like 30 or 40 years ago. Japan had bombers too. No fu occurred. Japanese here. I don't get why this is a fuck up. She was probably like, why would they call a jacket bomber? That's odd, and then forgot about it 5 minutes later. Maybe a better phrasing of answer would be, a jacket that fighter pilots wear. Don't mention the war. Wear some Nanking trousers next time to establish dominance. At least you didn't gesture a giant mushroom cloud and mimic Japanese people running and screaming after. Today I fucked up by leaving the bedroom door open. This happened today. Let me tell you about myself first. I am an engineering student. I have a girlfriend and she is in the same college as well. The story goes like. So I went to my girlfriend's house and we talked a lot about stuff and the pandemic too. She was feeling quite horny because she saw our old photos which were shot romantically. So we decided to have sex. Her parents were not home and her little sister was already asleep. Everything was perfect. But my girlfriend wanted to start with some roleplay like she dress-ups as a nurse and we have some fun and I agreed to that. She quickly went to hop into a nurse dress and started bending on my leg. Then we started kissing. She started with giving me a nice handjob and I felt warm too. She was about to remove her clothes when we heard something. I had opened the door due to the room being hot. It hadn't been 5 minutes when her sister woke up and came inside the room. We both were stunned. I quickly put my dick inside my shorts and she dressed up. The room wasn't well lit so her sister couldn't see anything. She just wanted her sister to sing her a lullaby because she was unable to sleep. She also is just 7-year-old so I hope she doesn't get any idea of what we were doing. Also we told her that I had gotten hurt and her elder sister was just treating me by being a nurse. Hope she believes that XD. Too long did not read. Was having sex with the door open. GF's sister came in. In about 5-7 years, that sister is going to realize what was happening and she's either going to have a good laugh or be grossed out. I too am stunned. Much believe this story. I don't think that's what Bruno meant by leaving the door open. Don't know why I'm reading this in an Indian accent. Like every other second post on here but this one doesn't even sound real. You guys were just wrestling. Lol kids are the biggest buzz kills since non-alcoholic beer. I have sex. TIFU by singing in the kitchen while cooking lunch. I'll preface this by saying that I live in Hong Kong. My apartment is tiny, 420 square feet. I'm not a prolific home cook, but when I do cook, I tend to really get into it. This morning, I'm cooking a one-pot dish of chicken and rice for my wife and kid. As I'm sure many people do, I was listening to some music while prepping the ingredients and started singing along. Portland, Maine by Donovan Woods, some classic Jack Johnson but it all fell apart with Let It Go by James Bay. You see, all Hong Kong schools are currently learning from home, due to COVID. So my son is sitting in the living room, right outside the kitchen, with a hot mic and a camera. Apparently the entire class has been listening to my terrible renditions of some of my favorite songs and laughing their asses off. The teacher is trying to calm things down, but is laughing pretty hard as well. My kid is pretty embarrassed, but is laughing at me too. I'm already the kind of weird parent in the class, as my kid is half Chinese, half Western, but goes to a full-on Chinese school. I'm white, tall and generally pretty loud. But I also speak Chinese fluently, so in Hong Kong I'm kind of an oddity. Sigh. Rip what little dignity I had left. Too long did not read. My kid's whole class heard me singing in the kitchen, and I have nothing left to lose. I love that your son was embarrassed but still didn't think to get up and stop you lol. Honestly this was way more wholesome than I've seen in a long time. Keep being quirky and silly and unique. LMAO. COVID is a BTCH on so many levels lol. Dude. Go for some singing lessons and then next time you'll blast them away instead of having everyone laugh at you. Do you take requests? What's going on? 4 non-blondes. Isn't this the whole concept of karaoke? Cute Thai for sharing. Nah, I think this is pretty wholesome.